Sau đây xin mời quý vị khán giả cùng gặp gỡ và lắng nghe những chia sẻ của Đại sứ Nadav Eschcar, Đại sứ Israel tại Việt Nam.
That is all of the remarkable events in foreign affairs over the past week. Coming up next, we would like to invite you to meet Nadav Eschcar, Israel Ambassador to Vietnam.
Ông Nadav Eschcar, Đại sứ Israel tại Việt Nam, sinh năm 1974 tại Jerusalem, Israel. Tốt nghiệp chuyên ngành quan hệ quốc tế và nghiên cứu truyền thông tại trường Đại học Hebrew University, Jerusalem. Trước khi đến với Việt Nam, ông đã từng tham gia công tác ngoại giao tại các quốc gia như Đài Loan, Trung Quốc, Hàn Quốc, Mông Cổ, Ba Lan.
Firstly, on behalf of Nguồn TV, we would like to say thank you that you saved your time for us today. As we both know that you have background in media and international relations, you have so many experience in media, diplomacy, education, working as a media expert in charge of Northern America, Asia, Europe in your Foreign Affairs Ministry. So could you please share with us how your experience helped you as an ambassador to Vietnam?
Well, first of all, let me thank you very much for having me today. I'm very excited to be here. I'm privileged to participate in your show, so I'm the one thanking you for giving me this wonderful opportunity. You know, you get experience on various issues, on media, on industry, on economy, on sometimes difficult political, tricky issues, strategic affairs. So after I gain quite a lot of experience, I'm very happy that I can bring it here to my current position as the ambassador of Vietnam. Interesting countries in the world.
I know that you once shared to press that you had first trip to Vietnam 50 years ago. So how do you feel about Vietnam at that time?
We came as tourists, my wife and me. We were a young couple at the time. On a very low budget, we came here to Vietnam for a few weeks, and we toured it from north to south. We tried to, to get to every corner of this country. It's a great place, and it was our hope that one day we can come and live here as a diplomat. So after many years, I finally managed to convince my headquarters, my foreign ministry, to send me here as an ambassador. And this is for me really a dream come true.
So do you think that it's a fate that you have some special connection to Vietnam?
I didn't think of that, but maybe you are right. It is a fact that I am here. I don't think it was solely fate, because I was working a lot to do that, to reach here.
So what do you think about the diplomatic relationship between Vietnam and your country?
Well, this year we're going to celebrate 25 years of diplomatic relations. So we started in 1993. I think that relations started on a very slow pace, very carefully, the two countries. Slowly but surely we had been discovering each other. And I think that nowadays, after 25 years, and especially the last 5 to 10 years, relations are booming. And when I'm saying booming, it's in every field you can imagine. It's like two good friends, sharing experiences, learning from each other about many aspects of life.
We cooperate in communications and technology.
A lot. In Vietnam, you have abundant water, and the soil for agriculture, for growing food, is excellent. Well, in my country, we have very bad soil. Big portion of my country is a desert, and we don't have enough water. We don't have rivers in Israel at all. We don't have rain. We have sometimes, but it's very small quantities. And many of his generation did that and prevailed and make the desert into the garden, which is something we are very proud of. So out of necessity, we found those solutions. Culture of finding solutions.
Have you got any advice for Vietnamese who want to start up with a business with Israel, or vice versa, Israel to Vietnam?
Well, this is one of the things we are trying to do, to bring the two businesses together. We are trying on the governmental level to sign relevant agreements. For example, we are discussing with Vietnam for the free trade agreement to try to give benefits, to encourage the businesses from both sides to do the business together. A lot of know-how coming from Israel to Vietnam. And Vietnam export is not the same export like Israel. So I think that already there's a lot of room for cooperation. We have the number one startup companies per capita in the world. In Vietnam, I think also quite big number of technological startups. And we also bring courses and experts from Israel to Vietnam, from the industry of startup, to encourage Vietnamese, maybe to show them how we do that, so they can also learn, and maybe to learn from them, because I think we have a lot to learn also here in Vietnam. I'm very optimistic, and I think that the trade volume is growing every year for many years already. Maybe it's the most significant country in the Middle East for Vietnam, and Vietnam is one of the most significant countries we have the economic cooperation in Asia.
After listening what you have said, and just remember that Vietnam published a book about the Israel. If you have some sentence to tell the students sitting here about one of that book, which one you would choose?
That's a very interesting question. I would say that there are a few very important messages in that book talking about the Israeli startup sector. One of them is that do not be afraid to fail. Do not be afraid to challenge. I think these are the two things that are most important maybe to emphasize.
Thank you for your sharings, and I think that many students want to ask you a question about your country. Are you ready?
Great,
Okay.
of course.
Is there any question for me, Nadav? Please raise your hands. You, please.
Hello, my name is Lan Phương. I study at Hanoi Open University. I have a question for you. Can you tell me an impressive memory about Vietnam?
Thank you for the question.
Thank you.
It happened long before the diplomatic relations were established. It happened in the 40s, actually, at the very difficult times for Vietnam and the very difficult times for Israel. The Vietnamese leader back then, Ho Chi Minh, had met with our David Ben Gurion, who is like our Ho Chi Minh. His name is David Ben Gurion. He was later the first prime minister of the country. And they had met in Paris in a hotel that they stayed together in the same hotel for 2 weeks from different reasons. And they became friendly. And every evening they spent together in this hotel back in the 40s and discussed the problems of Vietnam and the problems of Israel. Before Israel was established, it was. And one of the problems for Israel then, that we wanted to have our own state. And we didn't have our own state. And at the place where Israel is, which is our natural land, the British were ruling the country. And they were not willing to give us the control over this country. So Ho Chi Minh, generously enough, offered, maybe for us, maybe for the Jewish people, to come to live in Vietnam, which was extremely generous and kind offer. But of course, for David Ben Gurion, it was very important that we have our own country in our own land, which is the land of Israel. This is our place, what we yearned for thousands of years. So of course, he didn't come to Vietnam, but thanks a lot to Uncle Ho, to Mr. Ho, for his kind offer. And the one thing I really pity in this is that we have this registration of these meetings, but I couldn't find any picture of this meeting. I don't know if there is one, but I wish one of the things I hope I can do is to find a picture of them talking together. I think it could be very excited. I can make a big copy and put it in my embassy.
Israel and Vietnam share rich and prosperous friendship.
Yeah.
And this is a friendship between our government and between our peoples.
Right. True. Yeah.
Thank you. And I hope that in the future you will have many actions to, enhance our bilateral relations. I know that in this year, Israel will celebrate the 70 years. So do you have any plan to show the Vietnamese your long history and your culture?
We're very proud of our young state and of our unique culture. We're going to do something also special for both the 70-year anniversary for our state and the 25th anniversary of the relations, but I cannot tell you what it is. It's still a secret. But we're going to do it here in Hanoi, and it's touching upon innovation and agriculture and rice field. We want to introduce an exhibition in few cities, in Da Nang, in Hanoi, in Ho Chi Minh, but not only, on other cities as well, about the great Jewish scientist Albert Einstein. We want to introduce him a little bit. We are going to participate in the festival in Hue for culture. We publish a lot of books.
Is there any question for Mr. Nadav? Please raise your hands. You, please.
Xin chào. How do you feel about the people in Vietnam?
I feel great about people in Vietnam. I feel very welcomed here. People are treating me and my family very nicely. Here I feel the most at home. The Israeli people and the Vietnamese people are very much alike. We have in many things we are sharing. Good things, also some bad things, but I think we are very much similar to each other. We have the same style, even though we are far away in different sides of the continent. Still there is something very much in common in our, I would say, national behavior.
Do you find any difficult when you're living in Vietnam?
The summer here is so hot and humid, which for me it's a little bit difficult. So I have to be a lot in the air condition during that time. But other than that, it's great. The food is great, the atmosphere is great, the country is so beautiful. You have a lot to do during the weekend.
You said that you love food in Vietnam. So which is the best?
Well, I like the coffee, the Vietnamese coffee, very much. Especially I like it when it's cold and with sometimes with the condensed milk. And the flavor of the coffee here is different than in my country. I'm a coffee lover, but I think I shouldn't drink too much because it's very, very strong.
Do you have anything that you want to share with our students sitting here?
Yes, I think when I'm looking at the students sitting here in the room and all over Vietnam, I see a lot of similarities between the Israelis and the Vietnamese in the spirit. We share our love of human being, to human being, and I think we are all very creative and innovative people. So that's why I think, for example, as students, you are the future of this country, and I'm sure you are a bright future. This country is moving fast forward ahead, and I think that watching the young generation in this country, very, very promising. I hope that we can see the future of both our countries together, building it together in the future, and we get closer and closer, maybe not geographically, but by our hearts and by our minds.
Thank you for your sharing, and thank you for your positively contributing to our bilateral relations.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It was really a pleasure. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.